Good evening and welcome to the Congregation for Humanistic Judaism's Yom Kippur Kol Nidre Service. My name is Fran Wilder and I will be leading tonight's service with Deidre Priest, and we welcome back Rayhan Pasternak as song leader for our Kol Nidre service. On piano is Igor Pasternak, on cello is Nicholas Hardy, and on chauffeur is Stephen Bauman. At the conclusion of our service, we ask that you please return the service books to the lobby as you exit. And lastly, please note where the exits are located in the event of an emergency. Please silence your phones and your watches, and let us begin. Turn to page 16. Welcome to our Yom Kippur service, evening service, Kol Nidre. On Rosh Hashanah, we expressed our yearning for transformation and renewal. We resolved to shed attitudes that no longer serve us and to cast off old habits that impede change. Many of us continued this soul searching in the days that followed.
Yom Kippur helps us experience our humanity, to find compassion for ourselves and for others. It creates a space in our lives for mindfulness, for us to be aware of our failings, as well as our great capacity to forgive and begin again. And now, a welcome from board member and past president, Dana Price.
Welcome, members, guests, friends, to this evening's Kol Nidre service of the Congregation for Humanistic Judaism. We're delighted to welcome all of you who have joined us here tonight, as well as those who are participating online. CHJ was founded in 1967 and is the second oldest of the 31 humanistic congregations in the U.S., and we're the only humanistic congregation in Connecticut. According to the Society for Humanistic Judaism, our national organization, quote, "Humanistic Judaism provides community for people of all backgrounds to explore and shape the evolving meaning of Jewish traditions through a non-theistic, inclusive worldview, unquote. Humanistic life philosophy infuses our Jewish liturgy, holiday celebrations, and life cycle events with an emphasis on reason, knowledge, empathy, and justice. We focus on the responsibility and the power of people to understand our world and improve it, to strive for universal human dignity and the sustenance of our planet. Our approach is cultural rather than religious, and we welcome all to participate as we celebrate our multiracial, multicultural, and gender-diverse communities. This has been another challenging year for our country and for Jews all over the world. At such times, it is especially important and meaningful to be part of a supportive community. CHJ has many ongoing activities and celebrations throughout the year, with many opportunities for members and guests to participate. As a cooperative, we all have the opportunity to contribute to how we learn, discuss, celebrate, and have fun together. You can learn more about us at our website, humanisticjews.org. While our high holiday services are free and open to all interested, we welcome and encourage donations to help us defray our costs. If donors subsequently join the congregation, we will apply your contributions towards our very reasonable membership dues. Envelopes are available on the lobby tables, and donations may also be made via our website or by the U.S. mail. Please feel free to reach out to CHJ representatives here tonight or via our website with any questions you may have. Thank you, and enjoy our service tonight.
Now, before the shofar sounds, let us be still within and share in the spirit of our coming together.
Tekiah, Tekiah.
Let the shofar call us to community. Let the shofar call us to Yom Kippur, and let us say together, may my heart and mind be open to what this day asks of me. Tonight, however, Jews are the sound of the shofar echoes. It calls to our hearts, to our minds, and to our souls. It is a stirring sound, alerting us to the tasks at hand.
First, the shofar says, Shema, hear, be still. This is a day when we should seek out quiet. This is a day when we are given a still place, a place kept apart from our busy days. This is a day when our true self is within reach. Next, the shofar says, Shema, hear, pay attention. On this day, we take responsibility for our future. At this time of responsibility, let me pay attention. Pay heed to the sound of the shofar on Yom Kippur Day. Pay heed. This is a day to bring your spirit to touch the world, a day to declare responsibility for your life. When I pay attention, I bear witness. When I bear witness, I take part in judgment. Finally, the shofar says, Shema, hear, return. The sages said, Yatzah, the going forth is simple. Tushava, the returning, is difficult. Each year, we begin with a clean, bright new moment. By the time the year ends, threads of memory and desire have wrapped around us and trapped us in their complex webs. What we began with is long lost as our year ends. The sparks of that first bursting moment of light have been scattered throughout the moments of our lives.
Let us be still when the shofar sounds. Breathe of the spirit of our coming together. Breathe deeply of being at one with ourselves. and of sharing the spirit of this time. And let us say together, in the stillness between each call, let each breath bring me back to myself, ready for the year which these moments begin.
Tekiah, Shavarim, Teruah, Tekiah.
Together, let us affirm the values that guide us as we strive for renewal in the year to come. Please say with me, loving life and its mysterious source with all of our heart and all of our spirit, all of our senses and strengths, we take upon ourselves and into ourselves these promises to care for the earth and those who live upon it, to pursue justice and peace, to love kindness and compassion. We will teach this to our children throughout the passage of the day as we dwell in our homes and as we go on our journeys from the time we rise until the time we fall asleep. And may our actions be faithful to our words, that our children's children may live to know truth and kindness have embraced, peace and justice have kissed, and are one. Marsha Falk.
זחקי זחקי הכחלומות זו אני החולם זחקי ואדם מאמין כי עודני מאמין בך זחקי ואדם מאמין כי עודני מאמין בך Laugh at all in my dreams, my dearest. Laugh and I repeat in you that I still believe in people as I still believe in you. My soul is not yet sold to the golden calf of scorn, and I still believe in people and the spirit in us born, and I still believe in people and the spirit in us born. Let me time the dark with hatred. I believe in years beyond. Love at last shall bind the people in an everlasting bond. Love at last shall bind the people in an everlasting bond. Laugh at all my dreams, my dearest. Laugh and I repeat in you that I still believe in people and I still believe in you. And I still believe in you.
A candle's flame is a wondrous and mysterious thing. Though frail and easily extinguished, it has the power to light the darkness. A single candle flame can cast light where none has been. Its rays can penetrate to hidden corners.
We might be compared to a flame in our fragility. Our physical power is slight, yet a single act of human kindness or love illuminates like the candle's flame. We change the world through the action of individuals. I must ask myself what I can do. what actions I can take to make this a better world for all humankind.
Now, at the beginning of the new year, let us resolve to seek wisdom and understanding, courage and compassion, and may we have the will to let them guide our ways. Let this fire we kindle be for us a warming flame, whose brightness shows us the path of life.
Together we say, radiant is the light in the world. Radiant is the light within each of us. Radiant is the light of life.
Let us light these lights and see the way to joy, and let us say, Simcha. Let us light these lights and see the way to joy, and let us say, Simcha. Let us light these lights and see the way to love, and let us say, Ahava. Let us light these lights and see the way to love, and let us say, Ahava. Let us light these lights and see the way to peace, and let us say, Shalom. Let us light these lights and see the way to peace, and let us say, Shalom.
At this most solemn time in the Jewish calendar, we assemble to listen to Kol Nidre. The words of this ancient invocation, still recited in its original Aramaic, are barely understood, their precise meaning unclear even to modern scholars. The purpose of the prayer and to whom it was addressed remains to this day a mystery, yet its haunting melody and the atmosphere of expectation, hope, and release that it brings cannot be denied. As we listen to Kol Nidre, let its sound reach to the center of our beings. Let its melody sink to the depths of our souls.
Above the mournful chanting rises the fuller sounding wailing of the soul's most solemn anthem. Hark, the strains of deep Kol Nidre, saddest music ever mortals taught their lips to hymn or sound.
Who has ever heard Kol Nidre, gushing from the human breast, rising, falling, as the ocean lifts the waves in joy or fear? From time's ocean has it risen, every age has lent its murmur, every cycle built a wall, every sorrow ever dwelling in the tortured human heart, tears and sighs together swelling, answers for the pangs of the ages.
Who can hear this strange Kol Nidre without dropping in the spell? Lift the vestige of the present, link the momentary fleeting of the evening with the past. Dwell a spirit in the ages, living in the heart of time. Lose the sense of outer worlds, soul alone in endless time, breathing but the breath of ages. Joseph Fleiser.
In listening to the Kol Nidre melody, we experience in our innermost hearts the torment of our disappointments and losses, our broken vows and resolutions. It is a reminder of the distance between what we are and what we wish to be. To change things in the world, we must understand the limits of the world. To change things in ourselves, we must know our own limits.
Which of our aspirations are unrealistic? Which of our promises cannot be filled? Let us remove our commitment from that which no longer nourishes our soul. Let us give our energy and our will to those deeds that will help fulfill us and that will help the human race to thrive and survive.
The ancient prayer of Kol Nidre at the heart of Yom Kippur is also at the heart of our humanism. It is not about punishment for vows broken, but about our fallible humanity. Our ancestors understood that we needed escape clauses, especially for contracts between oneself and one's own soul. Our ancestors knew that a person might vow that which could not be performed, might promise that which could not be fulfilled, might with all good intentions make an oath which could not be kept.
Judaism recognizes our humanity in our capacity for error and in our willingness to forgive the errors of others and to correct our own mistakes. Who among us has never been in error? Because we recognize our own limitations, we can feel compassion for all people. Because we recognize our own fallibility, we can feel connection with all people. In that compassion and that connection lies our strength.
Let us all first say, following the ancient tradition, I hereby forgive whoever has hurt me, whoever has done me any wrong, whether deliberately or by accident, whether by word or by deed. May no one be punished on my account. As I forgive and pardon fully those who have wronged me, I shall seek out those whom I have harmed and ask them to forgive and pardon me, whether I acted deliberately or inadvertently, whether by word or by deed. May I not willfully repeat the wrongs I have committed. May justice rule the world, bringing joy to the land, happiness to the nation, and renewed strength and life to our people.
In honor of the ancient tradition, please stand and recite all forms of vows, oaths, and bonds which I have uttered, taken, or bound myself to from the last day of atonement until this present day of atonement, which is now come unto us for peace. May those of my vows between my soul and myself be no longer deemed as vows. My oaths are oaths, not my bonds as binding, but they are all null and void. They shall not bind, nor shall they stand. And let us now add the vows I made after the last atonement day, the oaths in my heart, I declare for my good. Have I fulfilled them? Have they changed my way of life? Have they delivered me from error?
Have we erred against life, either willingly or unwillingly, knowingly or unknowingly? Have we blocked our ears to the cries of children? Have we closed our eyes to the desolation of earth's creatures? Have we exploited the earth without thought of the future? Have we been silent while wrongdoing succeeds? Have we refused to acknowledge our responsibility? Have we said, I'm only one person, how can I matter?
Honest appraisal and renewed commitment can reclaim truth, set right the world, and assure for our children a life of purpose and peace. Let us say together, who will hear my regret? Who will open my prison and release me from habit? To whom can I raise my voice? I make the vows. I am the listener. My own voice is heard by my own soul. Let us be silent for a few moments to reflect upon our vows. Which shall we keep? Which shall we discard?
Always we hope someone else has the answer. Some other place will be better. Some other time it will turn out. This is it. No one else has the answer. No other place will be better, and it already has turned out. At the center of your being, you have the answer. You know who you are, and you know what you want. There is no need to run outside for better seeing, nor to peer from a window. Rather, abide at the center of your being. For the more you leave it, the less you learn. Search your heart and see the way to do is to be.
Let the shofar call us to the Torah. Tekiyah.
For over 2.5 millennia, the Torah, or 5 books of Moses, has been the keystone of Jewish life, the starting point of Christianity, and the background of Islam. Through the Torah, we glimpse the experience of our own ancient family, their customs and laws, their mistakes and achievements, their understanding of the world at that moment in time. Although many centuries separate us from the events and beliefs of our ancestors, there is a wisdom to be gleaned from their stories and inspiration from their courage. For ceremonial purposes, Jews have continued to read from handwritten parchments and Torahs in scroll form housed in arks. Our congregation has such a scroll, a Torah from Czechoslovakia, salvaged from the Holocaust. We feel honored to have this Torah as on permanent loan from a London synagogue that restores and conserves such precious relics. We say together, with Jews the world over, we read tonight to honor tradition and to connect us to the ancient Jewish text. Please stand as the Torah is removed from the ark. enjoy listening to this evening's reading. As Jewish humanists, we are comfortable in freely interpreting the text. Look beyond the literal message for truths and insights that speak to us today. At times, we may venture beyond the 5 books of the Torah, seeking wisdom from other books of the Hebrew Bible. Tonight, we will hear a passage from Genesis chapter 22, the binding of Isaac, read by Debbie and Alan Schindel.
ויהי אחר הדברים האלה, והאלוהים נישא את אברהם, ויאמר אליו אברהם ויאמר הנני.
And it came to pass after these things that God did prove Abraham and said unto him, Abraham, and he said, Here I am.
ויאמר קח נא את בנך את יחידת אל ארץ המוריה והעלהו שם לעולה על אחד ההרים אשר אומר אליך.
And he said, Take now thy son, thine only son, whom thou lovest, even Isaac, and get thee into the land of Moriah, and offer him there for a burnt offering upon one of the mountains which I will tell thee of.
וישכם אברהם בבוקר ויחפוש את המורוב ויקח את שני נעריו איתו ואת יצחק בנו ובקו עצי עולה ויקם
And Abraham
וילך אל המקום אשר אמר לו האלוהים.
And Abraham rose early in the morning and saddled his ass and took 2 of his young men with him, and Isaac his son, and he cleaved the wood for the burnt offering, and rose up and went unto the place of which God had told him.
ויקח אברהם את עצי העולה וישם על יצחק בנו ויקח בידו את האש ואת המאכלת וילכו שניהם יחדיו.
And Abraham took the wood of the burnt offering and laid it upon Isaac his son, and he took his hand, the fire, and the knife, and they went both of them together.
ויאמר יצחק אל אברהם אביו ויאמר אביו ויאמר הנני לי ויאמר הנה האש העצים ואיה הסר לעולה.
And Isaac spoke and told Abraham his father and said, My father. And he said, Here am I, my son. And he said, Behold the fire and the wood, but where is the lamb for a burnt offering?
ויאמר אברהם אלוהים יראה לו הסר לעולה בני וילכו שניהם יחדיו.
And Abraham said, God will provide himself the lamb for a burnt offering, my son. So they went both of them together.
ויבואו אל המקום אשר אמר לו האלוהים ויבן שם אברהם את המזבח ויערוך את העצים ויעקוד את יצחק בנו וישם אותו על המזבח ממעל לעצים.
And they came to the place which God had told him of. And Abraham built the altar there and laid the wood in order and bound Isaac his son and laid him on the altar upon the wood.
וישלח אברהם את ידו ויקח את המאכלת לשחוט את בנו.
And Abraham stretched forth his hand and took the knife to slay his son.
ויקרא אליו מהלך אדוני Min ha-shamayim vayomer Abraham v'yomer hineni.
And the angel of the Lord called unto him out of heaven, and he said, Abraham, Abraham. And he said, Here am I.
Vayomer al tishlach yadcha el hanar v'al ta'az lo me'uma ki ata yadati ki yirei Elohim atalo v'lo chasachta et bincha et yichidcha mimeni.
And he said, Lay not thy hand upon the lad, neither do thou anything unto him. For now I know you, thou art a God-fearing man, seeing thou hast not withheld thy son, mine only son, from me.
Vayisa Abraham et enav, vayar v'hine ayil achar ne'echaz basfach b'karnav, vayilech Abraham vayekach et hayil vaya'al lehu liola tacha beno.
And Abraham lifted up his eyes and looked, and behold, behind him a ram caught in the thicket by his horns. And Abraham went and took the ram and offered him up for a burnt offering instead of his son.
Please stand as the Torah is returned to the ark. Please be seated.
Today we will explore one of the most haunting and powerful stories in the Torah, the binding of Isaac, found in Genesis 22. It's a story that has stirred hearts and minds for centuries. Abraham, the patriarch, is commanded by God to sacrifice his beloved son Isaac. At the last moment, an angel intervenes and Isaac is spared. Traditionally, this tale is seen as a test of faith, a demonstration of Abraham's unwavering obedience. But from a humanistic Jewish perspective, we ask a different set of questions, ones that center not on divine command, but on human experience, ethics, and autonomy. Humanistic Judaism affirms that Jewish identity is rooted in culture, history, and shared values, not necessarily in belief in a supernatural God. So when we read this story, we don't ask, what does God want from us? We ask, what does this story say about human beings, about morality, and about the choices we make? Let's begin with Abraham. In the traditional view, he's a hero of faith. But from our vantage point, we must wrestle with the disturbing reality. Abraham was willing to kill his son because he believed God told him to. What does that say about the dangers of blind obedience? Humanistic Judaism teaches that ethics must come from human reason and compassion, not from unquestioned authority. If Abraham had paused to reflect, to question, to challenge the command, perhaps he would have modeled a deeper kind of moral courage. And then there's Isaac, often overlooked. He is the silent figure in this drama. He carries the wood, he asks where the lamb is, and then he is bound. What did he feel? Fear? Betrayal? Confusion? Humanistic Judaism urges us to give voice to Isaac's experience. He is not just a prop in Abraham's test. He is a person, a child, whose dignity and autonomy matter. In our tradition, we honor the sanctity of human life, not as a divine possession, but as a human responsibility. The story ends with Isaac spared and a ram sacrificed instead, but the emotional scars remain. This silence between father and son in the chapters that follow speaks volumes. From a humanistic perspective, this is not a story of triumph. It is a cautionary tale. It warns us about the cost of fanaticism, the danger of placing ideology above empathy, and the need to ground our values in human welfare. So what do we take away from the binding of Isaac? Not a call to obey without question, but a call to think, to feel, and to act with conscience. Humanistic Judaism invites us to be like Abraham, but not the Abraham who raises the knife. The Abraham who argues with God over Sodom, who says, "Shall not the judge of all the earth do justly?" That Abraham is our model, the one who speaks truth to power, who defends the innocent, who places justice above dogma. In the end, the binding of Isaac challenged us to ask, what kind of world do we want to build? One where obedience is prized above compassion, or one where human dignity is sacred and moral decisions are made with empathy and reason? Let us choose the latter. Let us be Jews who honor our heritage not by submission, but by reflection, not by fear, but by love, not by sacrifice, but by solidarity. On Rosh Hashanah, we are called to be conscious of how we were in the year past. On Yom Kippur, we are called to be conscious of how we may be in the year to come. When we are young, we learn by seeing things as separate. As we grow, we learn to put things together. We try to make unities, to see patterns, to see beneath and beyond separate experience, to the unbroken wholeness of which everything is a form.
At the center of the Jewish value of menschlichkeit, of humanness, is the Jewish humanistic vision of wholeness. We are menschlich when we can see more than what is in front of our eyes, when we can see beyond what is separate and of the moment, when we can see all the pieces together. We are menschlichkeit when we see our own lives as part of what is true of all human experiences.
For us as humanistic Jews, the focus of Yom Kippur is not so much atonement as at-one-ment, a time when we strive to return to being at one with our values, our ideals. It is a time not only to understand our values, but to incorporate them into our lives. The Hebrew word teshuvah means return as well as repentance. In this quiet hour, we reflect on the meaning of our lives. Each of us harbors within a vision of our highest self, a dream of what we are and could become. May we pursue this vision and work to make this dream real. Tefillah means self-reflection, in addition to prayer. On this day, we turn our gaze inward. Within, we find the power and strength to learn from our personal past and to plan for the future. Tzedakah, the Hebrew word for justice or righteousness, also signifies charity. Only when our self-reflection leads to meaningful action in the world do we fulfill ourselves, our families, our community, the Jewish people, the totality of existence. They shall be the soil in which we plant the seed of our renewed vision. Tzedakah is the right action that results from self-reflection.
Turning within, Self-reflection and right action are the fruits of this day. In the light of love and the warmth of this community, we gather to seek, to sustain, to share. Let us then be mindful of the time. For as Hillel said, if not now, when? Niskar, the remembrance of our dead, began as a collective experience. It originated with a massacre of Jews in the Rhine Valley during the Crusades and continued for 250 years through the pogroms and during Black Death. In those times, the ceremony consisted of reading aloud the names of all the victims who had died at the hands of the Crusaders, or mobs, or in mass suicides to avoid forced conversions. The memory books eventually contained thousands of names. If we were to add the names of all victims of hatred and racism in our own time, they would number tens of millions and include people from every corner of the earth. We light this candle then, not only in memory of our own beloved, but of all those who have been robbed of their descendants and have no one else to remember them.
We remember now those with whom we shared, those that gave us strength, those we cherished, those we loved. We remember them at daybreak as the sun peaks over the distant horizon. We remember them at dusk when vision is difficult and shapes are poorly defined. We remember them at the first signs of spring and the first blossoms bloom. We remember them in the stillness of winter as the stark branches are set against a cold winter sky. We remember them when we are alone and afraid of tomorrow. We remember them at times of joy, wishing to share with them once more. We remember them at times of difficulty, waiting for advice that does not come. We remember them always, for they are part of us now. In this temporal world, let us memorialize the good, the just, the caring. Let us honor the healers, the builders, the dreamers. In this temporal world, let us remember the peacemakers, those who taught, those who nurtured, those who loved, those who shared, those who identified with humankind, those who created for humanity. And let us join in saying, such as these will live on in the land of the living, even after they have left us. So has always been, so it will always be.
There are so many dead buried in my heart. I can no longer keep track of them all, and they can pull me ever harder toward them. The dead are never dead. We keep talking to them, and they keep talking to us. J.A. Amato.
May our bereavement for loved ones who are no longer with us expand our compassion for all of life. May we pursue peace among the living. May we find inner peace, shalom in the acceptance of our loss, cherishing the memories of companionship which shall endure. Together we say, may our community be a source of sustenance and support to all who mourn.
Upon the Jews and upon the nations and upon all the disciples of truth.
To them and to you, for the new year, peace.
Upon the Jews and upon all who meet with unfriendly glances, sticks and stones and names on posters, in newspapers, in books, curses chalked on walls and highways, children who are pushed out of classrooms whom the hundreds hands of the mob strike.
To them and to you, in this place and in every place, for the new year, safety.
Upon the Jews and upon all those who live as the sparrows of the street, under the cornices of the houses of others, as rabbits in the fields of strangers, or on the grace of what the harvesters leave.
In this place and in every place, to them and to you, for the new year, a living.
Upon the Jews and upon the nations, upon the children of the world, and upon the children of their children.
In this place and in every place, to them and to you, for the new year and for every year, life. Charles Reznikoff.
The task is difficult. It is difficult to slow down, to be still, to listen to our inner self. Yet on Yom Kippur, we are asked to accept the hard tasks of self-investigation, of self-judgment, and of choosing the proper actions that will help us to grow in the fresh spirit of the year to come.
Yourself, and you shall be turned, and your days renewed, like a sprinkling of clean water, like cool water to a dry mouth. So shall we be clear and open, and our days renewed.
How can we free ourselves? Yom Kippur gives us space. It is for us a sanctuary. In the stillness of the sanctuary, we will find the vision and the power to shake off what binds us. We must avoid empty vows, empty commitments, empty promises.
If we lack self-awareness, our vows will be empty. We must commit ourselves to deeds as well as to words. Together we say, I must sacrifice the comfort, what is familiar, and blocks change. I know what is right. Let me act on that knowing. The right action or the way of error, the decision is mine.
Tekiah.
The days of reflection are ending. The time to commit is now. As the shofar sounds tonight's final call, let us ready ourselves for a new beginning.
Tekiah. Shevarim. הגדולה.
May we live up to our resolve. May peace and kindness, graciousness, goodness, compassion, integrity flow among us and all the communities of Israel and all the peoples of the world.
This concludes our Yom Kippur Kol Nidre service. For those who are fasting, we wish you an easy fast. Please join us tomorrow for our Yom Kippur memorial and closing service. And let us say together, Lashana Tova.